How is it going, ladies and gents? I have a special treat for you today. Yes, I have a match against Justabomb from the Smoke and Battle Finder. Now, the match itself came very close to the wire towards the end, and looking at his team, I'm thinking Floatzel, Charizard, and the Ditto are going to be the main problems. I have a Magmar, which is meant to be my main physical sweeper, and then I'm trying to get a sweep with Shiftry going, but I keep kind of bouncing between these different sets, both physical and special, but it's really hard to find a set which can actually get a good sweep. I think Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Nature Power, and Seed Bomb would be the best chance, but I don't know, I kind of feel like trying out a special set and trying to get a sweep with that. So, first turn, I thought, if he leads off with anything but his Floatzel, I'm fine with Grumpig, so go ahead and lead off with that. And I just go for a Psychic in case his Charizard had sub and wanted to scout what I was going to do. Now in comes the Bastiodon, which can take anything from Grumpig, but I do have the Taunt just for situations like this. Grumpig has base 80 speed, so it's going to probably outspeed every wall in the game, or at least in the NU tier. So it's pretty good to have on there. Taunt, Thick Fat, Psychic, what are the other moves? T-Wave and Heal Bell, I think, so not too shabby, my friends. In comes the Ditto. I get a T-Wave on that, which is great. 99.9% of Dittos are choice scarfed. I do occasionally see a leftovers one, which is a bit weird, but I guess it can work. Now he goes for Heal Bell here. Now I thought he'd put a switch straight out to his Floatzel because me going for Taunt was way too obvious, so I go to my Shelter, then I do some other switch back to Magmar. He goes to Roselia, then he goes to Bastiodon. I missed what happened there. Loads of switching going on, but the end result is I get a cross chop off on the Bastiodon, and he gets up his rocks, which is fine. Now I do have my Shelter with Rapid Spin, which can just get rid of those if I get the chance to come in, but gonna stay in here with Magmar just for the time being, just because nothing really threatens it, unless he brings in the Floatzel, which wouldn't want to take a cross chop on the switching. He goes to Charizard, which is probably the best play he could have done here because it can take, you know, cross chops for days. However, I'm not choiced, I am Eviolite, so I go for a Thunder Punch, and that does a pretty good chunk of damage. Now I can go for a Flame Charge, just because, you know, after one Flame Charge, I will be faster than the Charizard anyway, so I feel like I may as well. Now I go for a Thunder Punch, and that's going to take him out, which is great. Now, the reason I went for Flame Charge is because I didn't want him going straight into Floatzel here, because, you know, +1 Magmar can outspeed Floatzel, and he could go for Aqua Jet, but I don't know if he'd want to be locked into that if he's choiced in some way, probably choice banded. So I go into Grumpig here just to take anything from Magmar. Take a Cross Chop. I was actually expecting Thunder Punch, but I think whatever happens, he wouldn't two-hit kill me with anything. Now he goes back to Bastiodon. I think I just go for a T-Wave on whatever, not really knowing what he'd go into. Now I think next turn I am going to go for a Taunt. No, I think this turn I go directly into my Shelter, predicting him to go into his Floatzel, because obviously me going for Taunt is way too obvious, so I will pull the switch into Helder! The most demonic of all Shelters. Helder can easily take any attacks from a Floatzel because it's normally a physical attacker. Now, what I didn't even consider was the possibility that he would have Switcheroo, which really does screw me over here. I go for Rapid Spin, I get a choice band on my Shelter, which is not great, but if I was feeling really brave, I would have switched into, I don't know, Sneasel maybe, to take the choice band, but I don't think Shelter was going to do too much this game anyway, so, you know, whatever. I can go for choice banded Rapid Spins over and over again. Do about 30%, which is kind of impressive. Like, when do you ever see anything do that much damage with Rapid Spin? But now he gets back his choice band with Switcheroo, which is a good play because obviously that extra power is going to be useful. Then he takes me out with a Crunch. That's fine. I mean, you know, now it does mean I can go back into my Shiftry, which can take a Crunch easily, and then go for a sub. So he switches, knowing he's locked into that. Goes back into Bastiodon, which can easily, as the name suggests, wall Shiftry. Bastiodon walls most things, to be honest, but I wish Bastiodon was PU. I tend to make all my teams PU just because there's not a huge amount of people. Like, when I search for battles, I always say PU or NU. I like playing in PU, but there's not many people who play exclusively PU, so I say, oh, whatever, PU and NU, why not? But I tend to make my teams mainly PU. So he roars me out here. Giga Drain does much less than I thought it would, although it is neutral, so what do you expect? Now he switches out, predicts my taunt here. I thought he would predict me to predict his switch this time and go for something else, like T-Wave or something, but no, it turns out he does predict me right. Goes into his Floatzel here and can just crunch my Grumpig to death. I didn't want to go into Shiftry on the off chance he went for Ice Punch here. Grumpig is much less valuable than Shiftry, so that was sort of the safe play to make. Now I go back to Nilbog! Oh no! Take a crunch, which it can do very easily. I just go for an extra sensory. I think predicting the Roselia, but even then Roselia can probably take the extra sensory pretty well, to be honest. It is a Shiftry and it's not stab and whatnot. So I take a couple of crunches and I just kill him off next turn with an extra sensory, which is fine. Problem is here, I do have enough HP to live one Life Orb recoil, so, you know, with my 2 HP remaining, I have 1 attack left to do. I can go for Giga Drain, but I'm not going to get back enough to where I can survive another Life Orb hit, so I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse just to get some damage off and try and get the flinch with the paralysis, and I do, luckily, so, you know, he doesn't get up his rocks again. Now I can bring in my Illumise, just go for a Bug Buzz and take him out. Got that Tinted Lens, that Life Orb, easily going to take him out from there. I doubt the crit mattered, but if it did, I'm sorry, Bastiodon can take hits for days pretty well normally, so maybe, who knows. Now in comes Chimecho. This might look like a weird play having seen the Bug Buzz and the Life Orb, but I thought that Chimecho would actually be able to take this, and obviously he did as well, so I don't know, I mean, maybe it was a more physically oriented one, or he underestimated Illumise, but now he goes to his own Illumise, or rather he goes to Ditto, steals my Illumise, goes for a Bug Buzz, and because he's not Life Orbed or anything, I can survive that. Go for a Tailwind, and knowing that he's probably Choice Scarfed, I believe it's a speed tie here, which I happen to win. Get some damage off, which is nice. But it does mean he can now take me out with Bug Buzz, and down goes Illumise. But it's fine, I have Darkman Drake, the Magmar. He's going to do some serious damage. Now, pay attention to these couple of turns, right? The Tailwind has just gone up. I think I have 2 turns left in it. I go for Flame Charge, right? Normally, I would just happily go for Flame Charges just because I may as well. It's definitely going to 2-hit kill the Roselia. I didn't consider the possibility that by going for Flame Charge instead of Flare Blitz, I waste an extra turn of Tailwind, so by the time I kill the Roselia, even though I've got +2, that's irrelevant, he can just go into Ditto and just copy that. But if I had the Tailwind up, he wouldn't be able to copy that, so, you know, the result would be I would definitely outspeed because I do have the Tailwind. Or, no, I guess I wouldn't definitely outspeed, but I mean, I guess it was a speed tie in that situation, so, you know, him having the Choice Scarf here, he can definitely outspeed me. Now I have to rely on priority as opposed to the possible low kick. I don't know what does more against the Magmar, but who cares? Go for Ice Shard and, luckily, somehow take him out there. I assume he didn't want to go for Flame Charge because it wouldn't kill Magmar. He couldn't go for low kick because that probably wouldn't kill Magmar. Thunder Punch probably wouldn't have killed Sneasel from full, so I guess Flare Blitz was his only choice there, and the extra recoil probably did come into play there, so yeah, that was a great game, Justabomb. Very close indeed, and that Ditto, don't ever set up when a Ditto's around, you'll get screwed over. So, hope you all enjoyed the match, and with that being said, I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.